Making a decision. I do talk a lot in my books and my programs about making a decision and how that stands for, that acronym is MAD. I often say make a decision to change something. Today, this audio is specifically about when you need to make a decision, a major life decision that you're deliberating over, possibly antagonizing over a big decision. So not in the same sense that we talk about making a decision to change in the courses I teach. This is about when you need to make an important decision and you can't make that decision. There's books written about how to make decisions. There's many methods. I had an interest in this topic as a young teenager, and I remember having a few methods that I liked. I was always into this mind power work. So now, now that I'm middle-aged and I have a new perception in life, and I'm doing this without a script, by the way, so I'm just going with my feelings. The new thinking and the new vibration that I have is that that there's another way to, say, make a decision. So we'll use an example. Let's use an example of whether or not to accept a new job offer, although your life-changing decision could be any major change or any decision. You may be in a position where you need to make a decision about moving. You may need to move from your house. There's a good one, like, do I move or do I stay? That's a big life decision. Do I buy? Do I rent? That's a major life decision. Do I move from my current location? Major life decision. This could be personal, in relationships. We have many decision-making stages with relationships. Do we accept a marriage proposal? Do we decide to have a family? Do we decide to have another child? Have we decided not to have any more children? And then there's a possibility that we have one. There's many scenarios where we need to make a decision that's going to affect our life, and we sometimes can't take that back. Leaving or staying in a relationship, major life decision. Deciding whether to go on the first date with someone is a major life decision. So there's some just off the top of my head. I'm doing a lot of deep, that breath that I do is because I've just done some energy work. So I'm very affected by that, but I also feel that this is a really good time to do a coaching audio because I'm in this this vibration. So back to the decision again, and why I thought I'd do the recording. It was more like an inspired message to do this because recently experienced this, and also I was speaking with a friend in the last week. She had a major life decision, and she's also inspired this, so thank you. So we talked about how when you need to make a big decision, one day it can be, say it's the yes, and the next day it can be the no, and it can just be all over the place, and it can totally consume you. You can be totally stuck on it, or you can be like, that's it, it's this one, and the next day, no, it's that one. So, and we'll use this example that there's two options. There's usually two options. So, yes, as I said, I've been developing my intuition, and not necessarily by design. I think it's just a natural process from being relaxed and happy and meditating a lot and writing and just having that vibration. So let's go back to if you need to make a decision and what not to do. We also talked about this. I said to my friend, I'm sure that the pros and cons list doesn't work, although it's very, very famous. You know, pros and cons, good and bad. List all the good things, list all the bad things. We're using the job example. Reasons to stay in my current job, reasons to leave. Perfect example. It doesn't work, I believe, because you can have many more points on one list, on one side of your ledger, but the one point or the one item on the other ledger can totally trump it. So you could have 50 more points or items on the cons list. Why not to do this? And then there's one on the pros. why to do this, and it trumps all of the others because it's more powerful, right? Or the other way around. So it can be an interesting way to process how you're feeling, and I love them. Love a good list, and I do use a list process with something that's you don't like and how you then apply that to how you create what you do like. So that's a different sort of method. For today, with the decision making and whether we have a pros and cons list, not my favourite, because there'll be one overriding emotion that makes the decision. Okay, so that's why I'm not into the pros and cons list. Also, considering that sometimes the decision is taken away from us how can this happen? Just say we'll use the job one. If you were considering a major career change and you have a job offer on the table, which is our example that we're using, and the employer phones and says, that's no longer available. So there's one. Relief. And you're like, oh, thank goodness I don't have to make that decision. Not meant to be, I would say. Definitely would think not meant to be. That's not an option anymore. So sometimes it's then not an option, which is even better. And you go, great, and I'm going to stay in my current job and then see how you feel. And it's like, okay, that job was taken away from me, that particular job offer. Do I still want to stay, or am I seeking something else? So that's a great way to process that. And then so in this example, if you were happy in your job, then you'd just be like, oh, I didn't really want that change and I'm glad it didn't work out. Or you'd be like, I really did want that, so I'm going to be open to a new job. And my methods are more about attracting and then actually seeking. But that's if you want more, please ask me about that. So yes, there are other ways, other methods and processes and hacks to make decisions. I used to like, when I was younger, I used to like that theory that I just read it once, saying that if you need to make a decision and you can't decide, then you toss a coin, you decide which your head or tails first, and then you see how you feel about it, but you don't necessarily make the decision based on the coin toss. It helps you process how you feel about it. It's brilliant. So we'll use the job again. And we're still yet to get to my actual method, but let's just use some comparisons because it could be fun. If you did 3 methods and you got the same answer, well, that would be it, wouldn't it? You would know. Just back to the coin toss. Take the new job heads, keep my current job tails, for example. So you flip your coin and it comes up heads and you're like, oh, that's what I wanted. I'm so glad that's what I wanted. And you know you made the right decision. So you don't necessarily do what the coin says, and it helps you process how you feel about it, right? That's perfect. If it were tails and you were disappointed and you're like, oh, that's not what I wanted, then you know the answer. That's brilliant. I use that all the time. I use that for little things. So that's really cool. Use the coin toss as how you feel about the result. If that was the answer and how would I feel about this? That's brilliant. So, okay, on to my actual idea. And I believe the answer is our wonderful intuition and helping me with all my work at the moment as well. But the intuition method for making a decision and is to feel it, is to feel the answer. Essentially, you're going to feel the answer without trying to get it. So it's like, don't try and get the answer, but it's like letting it go and allowing the answer. But you could ask the question and let it go, because that's all about my mindset. And what I teach. Asking a question and then letting it go. So you don't ask a question, then look for the answer. It's like you could ask for guidance. Please guide me. Please help me to know my path, or something like that. It's better than an actual definitive answer. That's a good way. How do I feel about, and then you insert your scenario. How do I feel about working with XYZ company? How do I feel about committing to something? Like just fill in your words, because I don't know what your scenario is, and it could be many things. So asking for the answer, asking a question about feeling, or simply asking for guidance and direction for your perfect path or your divine guidance, and those sort of words, because the emotion is the power. So you ask, how? Please show me the way. I like words like this. Please show me the way and guide me. Rather than a logical decision. It's more feeling, and it guides you, and you don't maybe need to make an actual decision. So sometimes here's another angle. If you don't change and you just go on and you don't change because you can't make a decision and it's too hard and it's just, I can't do it. One day it's yes, one day it's no. So you just keep going the way you are and you don't change. That in essence is actually deciding really to stay, but stay in your current situation. But say you're not making a decision, so you just stay. I feel that you'll inevitably make the change anyway if you're not happy. So I hope I've explained that. If you don't change, you stay in the status quo because it's too hard to move or change or break up or leave or move, whatever the change is. You stay and you still don't feel happy, like you're still not fulfilled, which is the essence of what I teach. It's being happy, healthy, wealthy. So to be happy, healthy, wealthy, you have to have everything in place and be happy with what you have, right? So if something's not feeling right, you're inevitably going to maybe 6 months down the track, oh, I still haven't made that decision. So tap into your feelings and your intuition and ask for direction and feel your decision into being, but try not to think of it as a decision. Think of it as a feeling your ideal life. These are the words I use. It gets really deep now because this is what happens when I don't have a script. It then goes into this be you. Not make it, I have to make a decision. Again, back to the making a decision to change. That's still in the book because you do need to decide that you're doing something, like commit to something. But this, where you feel you have to make a conscious decision and you can't, then you have to go into your feelings and you have to ask for direction because it's like there's no other way. The pros and cons list didn't work. This didn't work. I didn't understand that coin thing. It's like ask for help, ask for direction, ask for guidance in yourself. That is, you tap into your feelings. Daily meditation is the holy grail. As I always say, this helps you with guiding you rather than asking for, definite decisions. All right, so I think I'll leave it at that. But if you want any more and you want to know how this applies to you, please ask me. Please write to me, donna@donnahanks.com. So I'll just summarise with, rather than a logical, intellectual decision, think of it as a feeling. Feel how you would feel in the change and then feel how you would feel as you are and see which one feels better. Let it go, meaning let the idea of making a decision go. Like you're not actually going to be consciously thinking about it. So you just feel like you've already got it. You feel like you've already got your everything in place and your perfect career, if it's the career. And it's just that it's in your being. Like you've got to feel like you already have it and you've got to have that vibe of, I already have this career. And you know what can happen? Unexpected things. So you go, all right, I've decided here's, and I'll just play out this as a scenario, this feeling it into being rather than making a decision. I'll just play it out as a scenario. You let it go and we're using job, for example, you go to work, your current work, because you're not sure that you want to leave it. So you can't decide enough. So you have to stay. And you just go about your way, but you're not defeated and, oh my God, I don't really want to be here. You're just there not making a decision and letting your amazing job come to you, which is you're allowing that. You're opening, you're allowing it, right? You're energetically allowing it. So the unexpected is things could drastically change at your job. You go, oh my God, I can't believe it. If it's money, say you wanted to leave for money, but you love your current job. So what can happen in this, I'm feeling in my new career? Your current career that you love can pay more money. If it's someone at work you don't like, and that was one thing you wanted to leave for, that person leaves. Like, these are all the scenarios off the top of my head and how the world, the universe, all plays out for your benefit, for your life. Like, someone could leave that you don't like. You could receive more money. Maybe you wanted to be promoted, you weren't promoted, you're disgruntled, you want to leave, and then you go into work because you've just decided to relax about and not make a decision, and you're suddenly promoted. This is what happens when you relax and you try not to force or make things happen. It's more like, I want my ideal outcome and I don't need to define how it's going to come to me this red hot minute. I'm just being me. Right, that's the answer. Feel it into being. Know the outcome that you want. Money. I work with lovely colleagues in harmony and peace and all those lovely words. I get on well with all my colleagues, something like that. I have respect for them and they respect me. These are the sort of things we do if you work with me. You define what you want and you don't need to define where it's come from, and it doesn't have to be job X or job Y. It could be any other job. You could just randomly run into an old friend who says, oh, you'd be perfect for this position. All these scenarios. There's so many limitless, unexpected ways that you can receive your outcome without it being limited to the two things. Now, there you go. That's how we resulted. That's how it works when I do an audio without a script. It started with making a decision with a list to you don't need to do that because you just need to know what you want as your ideal outcome, and then it comes to you in the most unexpected way. So for more, because I definitely have to wrap this up, please contact me and I'd love to help you with making a decision or creating your perfect career or relationship or anything that you are desiring. Please contact me for more. Have an amazing day.